What is up, and welcome to another episode of Tiger Pick'em's, a special episode. This one is all online as Mizzou has decided to stop in-person classes for the semester, so we are going ahead and taking this show online. Today, I will be joined virtually by MUTV staffer Ethan Burke, and we're going to talk about college football like we always do. Speaking of college football, we've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to start off by talking about number 5, Texas A&M, as they take on Auburn. Then we're going to move on to number 8, Georgia, as they take on Vanderbilt. Then South Carolina taking on Kentucky. And finally, the University of Missouri taking on Arkansas. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and enjoy the show.
Now, Texas A&M and Auburn should be a fun one as the Aggies are looking to make a playoff push, led by senior quarterback Kellen Mond, who has 1,573 yards with 16 touchdowns this season, leading the way for the Aggies. The senior quarterback is very experienced and is looking to really have a good one here against Auburn. Now, on the defensive side for the Aggies is linebacker Buddy Johnson, who recorded 66 tackles this season, along with 30 solo. He has been an efficient defensive leader for the Aggies as they've been on a roll lately. Now, let's look at the Auburn Tigers. Sophomore quarterback Bo Nix, who's been struggling this season with 7 interceptions, but has recorded 10 touchdowns and 1,854 yards. However, although he's been struggling, his stats also show that he can be dangerous and can flip the switch any minute now. And on the defensive side for the Tigers, is linebackers of Jacoby McClain, who recorded 38 solo tackles and 2 sacks, who's been key for the Tigers' defense. I expect this to be a close game, as the Auburn Tigers will come out hungry after getting crushed by Alabama Crimson Tide. With that being said, the Aggies have a little too much talent as they're making a playoff push, and I have the Aggies win this one 35-27.
Thank you, Ethan, for that wonderful intro to the game. We're going to hear from him again when he talks about South Carolina at Kentucky, but right now I'm going to go ahead and talk about number 8 Georgia taking on Vanderbilt. Georgia's quarterback now, JT Daniels, took over for Stetson Bennett after he failed to produce, and Daniels has looked pretty good since then. 70.4% completion percentage, 540 yards, 6-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Georgia's also had a solid run game, led by running back Zamir White. They have several other running backs there that produce, but the real star of the team is the defense, led by safety Richard LeCount. They allow only 20.6 points per game, even when Stetson Bennett was the quarterback and they weren't performing particularly well offensively. That defense was so stout, it kept them in games. That's the real star of Georgia's team, and that's really what they're going to need to be successful in this league right now. Bringing on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has struggled a lot this season. They remain winless. In fact, they played Mizzou last week and did not score a single point. True freshman quarterback Ken Seals has shown some promise, though, throughout the season. He has 10 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, about 1,600 pass yards. So, not a terrible season for him. Has shown promise, although he struggled. Like the team, he struggled. The real story, however, is kicker Sarah Fuller. Congratulations to Sarah Fuller for being the first woman to play in a Power 5 football game with the kickoff. Hopefully we see a field goal next week, though it will be quite difficult against Georgia. My score prediction for this game is 28-3. I say to 3 because I'm really hoping that Sarah Fuller gets the opportunity to kick a field goal, but I can see another scenario in which Georgia shuts Vanderbilt out just like Mizzou did with that really good defense. And I think that this game could be even higher scoring, but 28-3 is the score prediction that I'm going to go with this week.
Next up is the South Carolina Gamecocks versus the Kentucky Wildcats. Although people may look at this game and may not be interested in watching it, I still think this should be a fun one, as both teams are really eager to pick up a win. The South Carolina Gamecocks have had some key offense with running back Kevin Harris, who's a sophomore, who got 14 touchdowns and 928 yards this season. He is on the rise and definitely for years to come will be a running back that the SEC will keep notice for sure. And on the defensive end is linebacker Ernest Jones, who recorded 42 solo tackles for this Gamecocks defense and has kept them in close ones. Now, for the Kentucky Wildcats, is running back Chris Rodriguez Jr., who recorded 562 yards with 6 touchdowns this season, has been given the Kentucky Wildcats offense some hope, as they've played a lot of close games. And on the defensive end is Jamin Davis, with 38 solo tackles and along with 2 interceptions. I expect this to be a back-and-forth game with each team trading off blows. But at the end of the day, I think the Kentucky Wildcats will outlast the South Carolina Gamecocks 17-14 in this one.
And now moving on to our final game, and the game you all have been waiting for, Mizzou taking on Arkansas. To talk about Arkansas like we do every week, we have a package for you from our own MUTV staffer, Mark Poland Jr. Take a look.
Former Missouri head coach Barry Odom makes his return to Columbia this weekend as Mizzou will face Arkansas in the Battle Line rivalry. Odom, who is now the defensive coordinator for Arkansas, has done a stellar job this season as the Razorbacks are among the nation's top defenses. Arkansas ranks second right now in all of college football in interceptions with 13. They're second in defensive touchdowns with 3, and they're also 7th in takeaways with 17. Defensively, the Razorbacks are led by senior linebacker Grant Morgan, who leads the country in total tackles with 104, but where Arkansas thrives is in their secondary. Arkansas has 6 defensive starters right now with at least 1 interception. Safety Jaylon Catalan and cornerback Hudson Clark lead the team with 3 apiece, which is also tied for 3rd in the nation. Catalan is also 2nd in the SEC right now in tackles with 86, so this Razorback defense has proven to be a very physical and very stingy unit. On the offensive side of the ball, Arkansas is led by Florida transfer Felipe Franks, who is 4th in the SEC right now in passing yards and has already thrown for 17 touchdowns this season. Traylon Smith will be the feature back after Rakeem Boyd opted out the remainder of the season earlier this week. Smith has 2 touchdowns this year and is averaging over 5 yards a carry. Receivers Treylon Burks and Mike Woods have proven to be Arkansas's most dangerous weapons, with each receiver averaging over 15 yards a catch. Burks is 5th right now in the SEC in receiving yards, and Wood ranks 10th. The two have combined for 10 touchdowns already on the season, so they will definitely make some big plays this weekend. Saturday looks to be a special night, not only because of the return of Coach Odom, but it will also serve as senior night, as Mizzou bids farewell to 17 seniors. It looks to be a great matchup between 2 teams that many critics did not expect to play well this season. It should be a great game. For MUTV's 23 Sports, I'm Mark Poland.
Thank you, Mark. Talking about Mizzou last week looked very, very good against Vanderbilt on offense and defense, winning it by 41-0, not letting Vanderbilt score anything. Quarterback Connor Bazelak for Mizzou was not anything fantastic. However, he was quite good and did exactly what he needed to do. Went 30 for 37, 318 yards. Very, very solid stats. Did exactly what he needed to do to move the ball down the field. And of course, the star last week was running back Larry Roundtree. He was a stud. 21 attempts, 160 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Larry Roundtree has had himself a very good season, but it couldn't be done without his partner in crime, Tyler Beatty, who currently leads Mizzou in receiving yards with 302 receiving yards. On top of that, he's a great change of pace back from Larry Roundtree. Both of them have created a very, very good run game for Mizzou this season. Their defense was great last week as they held Vanderbilt to 0 points. They've shown a lot of flashes. They're going to really need to be good against this good Arkansas team. The key to the game for Mizzou is really just to be able to score points. Connor Bazelak had that huge game against LSU. Since then, he's been efficient, he's been solid, but he hasn't been anything fantastic. We need to see him take a step up if we want to see that Mizzou team take on and beat an Arkansas team that has also looked quite good. My score prediction for this game, I will have Mizzou taking it slightly, 35-31. That'll do it for this week in Tiger Pick'ems. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you to Ethan for coming onto the show. It was great having you on. For Ethan Burke, I'm Lucas Parrish. Have a great day.